Whether you want to study, go to the gym, or learn how to code, there is one thing that comes between you and that task, and that is procrastination. We've all done that, and that leads to unproductivity. And as someone who studies computer science, I've learned how to fight procrastination the hard way. But to start, what is procrastination? Procrastination is when you delay a task or do something unproductive like scrolling endlessly through social media, playing video games, or waiting for a reply on a group chat. And funny thing is that you know that this thing is wrong, but you still decide to do it. And the real villain here is not you, but the way that these activities are designed to release this drug called dopamine, a neurotransmitter that gives you the feeling of comfort and pleasure. You see, people that have designed these activities have made it easier and easier for you to get this drug. And when our brain gets all of this dopamine, this state of comfort and pleasure, it doesn't want anything else. It likes to be in this state. So how do you break this state? How do you break this constant loop of ignoring the thing that you're trying to do? To answer this, we need to learn why procrastination happens in the first place. Procrastination mainly is caused by these two things. Firstly, the lack of clarity on what needs to be done. When the task we are putting off is not clearly defined, it seems too difficult. It makes us feel bad, and to make up for that moment, our brain starts to do things that it likes to do, like scrolling social media, because again, this brings comfort. That is the brain's way of coping with itself. And as I said, our brains are designed to seek comfort and pleasure. That is why it is easier to stay in bed rather than wake up at 6 a.m. in the morning, because again, that is more comfortable to the brain. So to fight this, get yourself some sticky notes, something like this, or even better, a whiteboard that looks something like this, something that you can put up on your study desk, and then you can write the things that needs to be done on that sticky note or whiteboard. Next, break that task down into smaller tasks. Do you have a test to study for? Then write down how you will study for that test. Make a plan and then break the plan into several plans, and make sure to not do something for more than 30 minutes without taking a 5 to 10 minute break in between. And when you take a break, do something you like. That can be scrolling through social media again, but only for 5 to 10 minutes. Or even better, you can stare at this Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's face that I 3D printed for 5 to 10 minutes. Now, once you've taken 4 short breaks of 5 to 10 minutes, take a longer 30-minute break. And again, in this 30 minutes, you can do anything that you like. For me, it is staring at this beautiful 3D printed perfection of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's face for 30 minutes. This is called the Pomodoro technique. I'm talking about the study technique, not me staring at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's face for 30 minutes straight. Anyways, Pomodoro is when you take a big task and break it down into smaller tasks, like studying for a test or learning how to code, with time intervals of 5 minutes. This time period is called a tomato. Like literally, it's called a tomato, because the guy who invented this technique used a tomato-shaped timer. Now, make sure that you place the sticky notes or the whiteboard in front of your study space where you sit down, so that you can constantly look at what needs to be done. And move things that distract you away from your study space, because according to some smart books and my personal research, distractions fuel procrastination and unproductivity. Things like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's 3D printed face or your phone. Just keep it in another room or mute the notifications until your break comes up. I don't have to close my notifications because no one really calls me, so that's always a benefit. Again, you can always use your phone in break times as long as you stick to the right timings. You don't have to delete social media or destroy your phone, because let's be honest, we are so engaged into social media and our phones right now that it is practically impossible to get the same amount of dopamine that we get right now from our phones and social media compared to 200 years ago, where getting the same amount of dopamine would be impossible. Anyways, procrastination just doesn't simply end with you making a plan and sticking it up on your wall and deleting social media. Because let's be honest, chances are you made a routine before. Probably not as good as this one, but chances are that didn't work either. So why does this not work? Because there is a second reason to unproductivity and procrastination. And that second reason is inside of you yourself, your emotions. You see, you procrastinate because what you're trying to do seems hard and difficult. And what you're doing right now is easy and fun. There is actual science to back up the links between emotion and procrastination. A big part of procrastination is related to shame and fear. But not just because you think something will be hard when it's not. Sometimes things are actually hard, but delaying the things only because it is hard will only make the things harder. You're adding fuel to the fire and making the thing more difficult by not doing it at all. And the guilt builds up. This constant loop of trying to avoid things that you think are difficult and doing the things that are easy and gives you comfort and pleasure will make the thing that you're trying to do even harder. To break out of this loop and to fix this, you need to reframe how you think about your tasks in a positive way. Tell yourself that the thing that you're trying to do is easy and the negative emotions you usually have towards them will eventually go away. In other words, cut off your emotions about a task before they get to you. Stay away from them and try to regulate them. This is what ADHD meds do as well. They work on the part of the brain that regulates emotions and make it easier for you to do things. We can also do this consciously without using medication. You just have to be aware of it. Medication just does a lot of work for you, but you can achieve the same thing by learning how to regulate your emotions. Again, this is not easy. Things are easier said than done. And if it was that easy to not procrastinate, then everyone would be productive. Emotional regulation is something we learn as we develop. Some people are naturally better at this than others. Just like some people are more artistic or athletic. But unless you start doing it, you will never learn how to actually do it. Start thinking positive. Don't think about how hard the task is. Think about how easy it can be if I break it down into several smaller tasks. Yes, the math test is hard. But if I break it down into smaller tasks, like studying chapter by chapter and focusing on each part, I can make it more easy. By staying calm and telling yourself that you have the skills to work through it, you can keep negative emotions away and stay focused. This was Talal from IGA Revision, and I will see you in the next video.